Hello, my glorious noggin knockers. Welcome to another Mind Bang quick drop for the Severance cult. I know I drank that Lumon flavor aid, but I mixed it with my hand instead of a spoon. Is that wrong? Anyway, the dreams of pickles and beach cake continue. Upshot, you get another bonkers Severance theory. So let's hit it and sit on it. Severance. Did Mark and Gemma sign their souls away to Lumon? Alright, Severance fans, if episode 7 of season 2 didn't completely wreck your brain, you might not have been paying attention. We knew Lumon was up to some messed up stuff, but the revelation that Gemma is alive, has multiple innies, and is being tortured in different rooms like some dystopian escape room nightmare, that was a new level of horror. And let's talk about Mark. Our guy thought he was just a sad, grief-stricken dude drinking through his pain, but now it's looking like he and Gemma were chosen for Lumon's experiments long before her death. The connection between them isn't just tragic, it's deliberate. So let's break it down. Why is Gemma being kept at Lumon? Why were she and Mark targeted? And did they voluntarily sign themselves up for this hell? Gemma's multiple innies. The human lab rat. We've known for a while that Ms. Casey was not just some overly calm wellness counselor who handed out waffle parties like they were normal corporate perks. But now we know that she's not even one person. The testing floor of Lumon is basically a house of horrors for her. Each innie version of Gemma seems to wake up in a different room, each designed to put her through some kind of extreme physical or psychological distress. And the worst part? She never remembers it. Every time her outie enters a new room, that room's specific innie version of her comes to life, meaning her consciousness is constantly being fragmented and tortured in ways she can't process. If regular Severance is already bad, this is a nightmare designed by corporate Satan himself. So what's the point? Why is Lumon obsessed with making Gemma experience pain, fear, and presumably death over and over? One theory is that she's part of Lumon's next big experiment, a deeper kind of severance that doesn't just divide work and home life, but splits a person into multiple controllable identities. What if Lumon is trying to build an army of workers who can be endlessly recycled, with new consciousnesses uploaded and erased at will? Mark and Gemma, were they targeted before Severance? Here's where things get really freaky. We saw in this episode that Mark and Gemma met at a blood drive sponsored by Lumon. At first glance, it just seemed like a cute, mundane detail. But why would the show go out of its way to show this moment? Because it wasn't random. Lumon has had their eyes on these two for years, and that raises some terrifying questions. Did Lumon specifically choose Mark and Gemma as test subjects? Were they part of a recruitment program hidden within a public health initiative? And worst of all, did they unknowingly sign something that sealed their fate the second they gave blood? Some fans believe that Mark and Gemma were struggling with fertility issues. We don't have confirmation, but the signs are there. Gemma's eventual death could have been part of a botched Lumon fertility experiment, one that ended with her being repurposed instead of buried. Think about it, Lumon already controls birth and death in this world. They decide who gets severed, whose memories get wiped, and now, possibly, who gets to be reborn into new bodies. And if Mark and Gemma were targeted because of their desperate desire to have a child, then that brings up an even more unsettling possibility. Was Gemma's body repurposed for something bigger? If Lumon has figured out how to separate minds and bodies, what's stopping them from taking it a step further? Some theories suggest that Gemma agreed to the experiment, thinking it would help her conceive. But instead, she ended up trapped in this nightmarish loop of psychological torture. What if she was part of an experiment to create new consciousnesses, new souls, that could be transferred into new bodies? And here's where it gets really dark. What if Miss Huang is connected to this? Some fans have speculated that Miss Huang is actually a reborn version of Mark and Gemma's unborn child, someone who never got to live, but whose existence was manipulated by Lumon to create a new kind of severed worker. If Lumon is experimenting on human consciousness at this level, then Severance isn't just about splitting work and life, it's about playing God. Mark's guilt. Did he let this happen? We've spent 2 seasons watching Mark stumble through his grief, but what if he's been suppressing something even worse? What if Mark agreed to let Gemma participate in the experiment? Imagine this. Lumon approached them with a promising treatment for fertility struggles. Mark, desperate to fix everything, signed off on it. Something went horribly wrong. Mark blamed himself so much that he let Lumon sever him just to escape the pain. This would explain why he's so detached, so lost, so easily manipulated by Lumon. He's not just grieving his wife's death, he's suppressing the truth about what really happened to her. And now, he's starting to wake up. So what does Lumon really want? If Mark and Gemma were deliberately chosen, then Lumon's endgame isn't just about corporate control. It's about mastering human consciousness itself. They want to create perfect severed workers who can be wiped and reprogrammed indefinitely. They might be trying to bring back Kier by downloading his soul into a new body, and they could be experimenting on Gemma to test the limits of what a human mind can endure. It's not just about controlling work-life balance anymore. It's about breaking the very fabric of human identity. Final thoughts. Mark's nightmare is only just beginning. Mark thought he was running from one tragedy, but now it looks like his entire life has been orchestrated by Lumon from the start. Gemma was never dead. She was being rebuilt, repurposed, divided, and used in ways he never imagined. And if he was part of the reason she ended up in that situation, then his journey isn't just about uncovering the truth. It's about facing the darkest thing of all, his own complicity. Buckle up, folks. This is only going to get worse. The end? Boom. Another name on my mind bang body count. So yeah, I am canceling my application to Lumon Stat. I'll work at Lumon instead. That's a weird cultish connection. Moving on. I will let you know if the pickle assault and the cake redemption arc continue. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with bangers near and wide. Until then, I am Audi5000 for Mindbang.